Welcome to the VGHL podcast. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Alrighty, so today with us we have Neil Albert Reed. How are you, Neil?
Hello. Pretty good.
And our guest today is Philly Fan 1106.
How's it going, guys?
You guys ready to start the week?
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Okay, so let's get right into the standings.
Silence calls to me from the treetops of this world.
Alrighty, so to start off the standings, we have the Atlantic Division. Neil, what do you think of the Atlantic Division so far?
Seems like Detroit's pretty strong there, holding on to the first spot.
Yeah, definitely are.
Panthers are close behind with 26 points, and then Montreal rounds up the top three with 20 points.
Yep, that sounds about right. Let's see. So out of these, well, there's about 4 teams that are separated here from the rest of the pack. You have Detroit, Florida, Montreal, and Toronto. What is the difference in between these 4 teams and the rest of the teams in the Atlantic Division right now?
Honestly, I think it's more of offense because the differential of the plus minus. Detroit has plus 35, Florida has plus 27, Habs are plus 11, and Leafs are almost breaking even with minus 5. And then it jumps down to minus 18 with Boston.
Yeah, definitely true. Let me look at this. Okay, so we got Detroit with 67 goals for. We got Panthers with 63. Canadians 54. Toronto 50. That's kind of a big surprise there. Toronto being a negative differential compared to the other teams, but they've had some tough games recently. Do you think, although Toronto's have some tough games to start the season, they're going to be able to turn around and maybe turn their team what they were in last year?
Absolutely. They have a pretty good core there. Still early. Like I said last week, lots can happen.
What do you think about
Yeah.
these teams?
Um, I look at the top four, the bottom four. I think one of the biggest things I see is just maybe a lack of star power with the bottom four compared to the top four.
Yeah.
Obviously, Montreal spent a pretty penny on Headshot, and I know the others have a few good players. Where the bottom four, I don't see anyone who sticks out on their team, I guess you could
Yeah.
say.
Alrighty then, let's move on to the next division. We have the Metropolitan next, led by the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Washington Capitals, and the Carolina Hurricanes. And then right behind the Hurricanes, you have the Rangers, and then the rest of the division is pretty much right behind them, minus the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, this is a pretty tight division. They're all within 3 or 4 points, right down to Pittsburgh.
And Neil, this is your division, right?
Yeah, it's very tight.
So,
A lot of talent.
have you
The
played
top team
against a
has
lot
a
of these
-3.
teams?
I don't think we actually have played a lot. I know we played a few of them. I've only played a few myself, so I don't recall. I know we played Carolina and Pittsburgh. The rest I'm not 100% sure on.
Yeah. Let's see here. So, pretty. Oh, that is kind of a big surprise. What do you think about Columbus? They're at the top of the division, given they're only one game ahead. They're at a negative differential. They've let in 51 goals, which, besides the bottom three, is the most goals allowed.
Yeah, it's definitely they have a pretty good road record. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean their home record is losing. They're 3-4.
Hmm.
I think, like I said, the division's pretty tight. A couple games here and there could change drastically.
Do you think it's because they just had a couple? I don't know which teams they played against, but you think it was just a couple of off games that led them to get the negative differential, or do you think it's because they had a lot of close games and they had one game that maybe didn't go that way, or do you think it was just
Well, judging just based on differential, it's some pretty close games. It's 48 goals for, 51 goals against.
yeah? Bill, have you played against any of these teams yet?
We've actually played, it seems, quite a few Metro teams. I think we've played either 3 or 4 of these guys. It's kind of surprising. Um, I think both New York teams are pretty good. I know Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, in my opinion, are going to be, moving up the standings as the season goes along.
Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't look at these standings until now, so I'm kind of a little bit surprised at the Metro right now.
Yeah. Metro definitely had some question marks because you have the reigning champions, the Flyers. You had the Penguins. They had a little bit of a stronger first week. The Rangers and the Islanders were floating around that spot last week also, so it got flopped around a little bit. Do you think that any of this had an effect on the free agent signings?
I know the Islanders got Chiz. They got 20 million into 2 players now, which could go either way, I guess.
Yeah.
Obviously, Roy and Chiz are great players. I'm not sure if they'll be able to pull them into the playoffs or not. I'd expect them to be, probably in that 3-4 range of the division. New York, I know, has made a few moves in the last couple days. I actually like some of the moves they made. I think they'll start moving up. I think Carolina's a bit of a surprise for me, I guess. I mean, they're only 8-6, but still sitting at third in the division is pretty good.
Yeah.
And this is the time of the season, the next couple of weeks or so, is when teams kind of decide who they're going to keep, what kind of moves they're going to make, and basically figure out their identity.
Definitely. Because it would be a little bit too early to make some of these moves, but now we're definitely starting to get it turning into week 3 here soon. Teams are going to want to cut the players who maybe aren't having as strong of a season so far, or not performing they would want them to perform, or the way they thought they would perform. So yeah, definitely a for sure thing. Teams need to be looking into that. You guys want to move over to the Western Conference now?
Sure.
Alrighty. Starting off with the Central Division, you have Colorado, the Jets, the Hawks, the Wild, and then there's a little bit of a gap in between the 3 bottom teams. There's also a gap in between the Jets and the Hawks. Definitely there's no way you can look past this division and past the Avalanche. They've had a very strong season so far, a very, very strong start, but I feel like a lot of people are underestimating the Winnipeg Jets because look at them. They're 1 win behind them. They're tagging along for the ride pretty much. They're hanging in there with the top guns.
Yeah, they seem like they've had the Jets have seem like they've had a little bit more closer games than Colorado. Their differential is a lot higher.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Colorado also has the best offense, like I'm pretty sure again in the league. So,
Yep, they're doing pretty good.
yep. And they also, if you look at it, they have the best defense also in the Central, which is, I know the best defense in the league is the LA Kings, but that's pretty substantial to be one of the best offensive and one of the better defensive teams. Phil, do you want to comment on the Colorado or the Jets or the Central Division?
Winnipeg, I seen they've made a few moves over the last few days before the office closed, and I like some of the moves they made. Cryptic Husker is a buddy of mine. Their starting goalie has been solid, 7-0, kind of leading the way for him. I know he said they've played some great defense in front of him, so I expect Winnipeg to stay up there. I really haven't played. We haven't played really anyone in this division, so can't really speak for the rest.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty then, let's move on to your division then. The Pacific Division, led by the LA Kings, Phillies team, the Coyotes, the Ducks, Oilers, Canucks, and then at the bottom you got the Sharks and the Flames. What's your guys' plan to catch up to the Kings?
Well, it starts with the game this Wednesday. Will be the first time we play them, so we'll be having our top line go out there. That has been our best so far this year, and try to obviously win that one. If we can win that one, I think it'll give us some confidence to believe we're better than them. I think we've played everyone besides Vancouver so far. The Ducks beat us in a close game. The Oilers beat us on opening night. The Sharks and Flames we beat pretty handily, but anyone can do anything on a given time. So should be a fun game versus Kings this Wednesday though.
Yeah, definitely something to look forward to.
They seem like a pretty strong team. What's your strategy for them? Without giving away too much. I mean, I don't want to.
Oh no,
put
you
on
have
the
to
spot.
show all the X's and the you gotta get roll. It's the whole playbook here.
We play a really strong team defensive game. That's pretty much my style of play. I love a good team defense. We had trouble putting up goals in the first week of the season, but this past week we got the puck in the net a lot, and we seem to be clicking. We went 6-1-1 this week, so I feel confident heading into this week.
Yeah, and you guys have a pretty close road record as well, 4-1-1, 4-1-1. Seems
Yep.
like Holmes got you down a little bit. What do you think? What do you think you can do to change that for your fans at the home arena?
Well, I mean, I'm not really sure. Arizona, we're gonna need a win to pack the fans into the stadium there. Someone who hasn't seen the playoffs for a few seasons, so
Yeah. Do you think being so high in the standings so early, do you think that's going to affect how many seats you fill?
I think so. I think if we beat LA Wednesday, we'll start selling out.
Yeah. Awesome. Good to hear.
Alrighty, anybody want to comment any further as far as the standings go?
Nope.
No? Everybody good? Alright, we'll
We're
move
good
on
there.
to the power rankings. Alrighty, here we are with the power rankings. At number one, no surprise, you have the Detroit Red Wings. Right behind them, you have the LA Kings, Panthers, Avalanche, Coyotes, Jets, the Canadiens, the Ducks, Columbus, and the Leafs. So, sort of off. So I was wrong. The Detroit Red Wings are actually the best offensive team in the league with 67 goals, and they have the second best goals against at 32. Who's going to be stopping Detroit?
Well, I like
Hard to say.
their one in the L column because it was us. Otherwise,
That's something to be proud of.
I'm not sure.
Seems like they're kind of running away with the league here. It is a good question to see who's going to stop them. We know at least Arizona can. So, I mean, I'd probably put my money on them. They beat them once. I'd say they'll do it again.
Yeah, and considering they're going to be playing the number two LA Kings, which have the best defense in the league, and they're a little bit beyond on the offensive side, but we've only let in 25 goals, and the Nets' best defense has let in 32, 7 more goals. Man, I would love to see some footage of their defense right now, because it must be pretty outstanding.
Yeah. Who do they have? I'm gonna look at the roster here.
Yeah, because if you look at it, they've, like, compared to all the other teams you see here, like, the Ducks have let in 51, so it's Columbus. That's double what the LA Kings have done.
Yeah, so it looks like their main D is your boy JP and stay at home D,
Yeah.
just by looking at the initial roster here.
Yeah.
And that's really their only defense that's primary.
Well, I'm sure you want to be me. It's playing, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
He's listed as left wing center, but I don't know how much defense he's playing.
Yeah, no, I think last year he played a lot more defense. So behind the LA Kings, we have the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers had the third best defense in the league, but they were a little bit more up there offensively than the Kings. They were ranked fourth in the offense. They got 63 goals. Oh, jeez, I keep on mixing up the numbers. Yeah, well, yeah. So they got in 63 goals against their opposing teams. So yeah, man, they like to confuse you a lot. See, they got 63 goals for and 36 goals against. They must have something going on with their numbers. They have to flip flop them.
Your mic's kind of cutting in and out there. I don't know if
Oh.
anyone else can hear that.
Well, you guys want to comment about the Florida Panthers?
They're definitely good offensive. Detroit, Florida, and Colorado seem to be pretty close with the offense. They're still in the
Yeah.
high 60s there. And it seems like it's kind of the defense that's making the difference.
Definitely. So yeah, if we want to touch up on the Avalanche, they have the second best offense, along with the fourth best defense, and they led the Central Division in defense. So definitely very
Yeah.
interesting. And then their other opponent, other than the LA Kings, that seems to be coming up, would be the Coyotes, which we have Philly, and he's on the Coyotes.
Yeah. Um, our big thing this past week was goals. As far as looking at the power rankings, I know we were top 10 in goals against last week, but we were middle of the pack in offense, and we moved up quite a bit for goals for. So we're putting the puck in the back of the net. We're still playing solid D, so I like our chances versus anyone.
And then right behind you guys, we have the Winnipeg Jets. They were ranked also ninth. They tied for the ninth position in offense. And the Jets let in 4 more goals than you guys. Also, another Western Conference team. They went 2-4-1. Where's their? I guess they're missing a game in the standing. So I don't know what game they're missing. But have you guys played against Winnipeg yet? Has either of you guys played against Winnipeg yet?
I
I'm
have not.
not 100% sure.
Okay. We'll move on to my organization then, the Montreal Canadiens. They are 10-5. They had the 15th. They're 15th in offense, and they were 7th in defense. So obviously a little bit more defensive team here than offensive. They trail behind a little bit offensively in the league, but they still have a good goal differential, so good for them. He's definitely doing better than in past years, so you can't complain about that. Behind them, we have the Ducks, Pacific Division team. They went 9-4-2, 53 goals for, and 51 goals against.
I think he completely cut out there.
Completely. Where did I left off at?
You're at the Habs. Behind them, I think you're going to say Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, beyond them, the Anaheim Ducks with 53 goals for, 51 goals against. So there's still some question marks with Anaheim. They still haven't really answered if their top line is going to be able to produce what we thought they were going to be able to. You guys want to comment on that?
They're still eighth in the power rankings, so there's definitely nothing to be ashamed of there. But they definitely got to pick it up a little bit if they want to compete with the top teams.
Alrighty.
I would agree there.
Okay, cool. Well, then we'll move on to the Columbus Blue Jackets, my old organization.
And that comment goes with all 3 of the bottom.
Yeah,
I know they're all strong teams, but if they're going to compete with the top teams, they got to step up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you look at it, they're both they're all really thin goal differentials or they're negative goal differentials, but they're still good teams.
They're hovering around even, which is decent.
Yeah, but they're still winning games. So.
And that's the most important part.
Yeah, exactly. So and that's what gives them the chance. But at the same time, if Toronto plays Detroit in the first round, it'd be that question mark of, okay, you're above average team, but you can't beat the other above average team. So you got to figure out how to at some point. You have to be able to put your foot down and say, we're winning this game,
Exactly.
Alrighty then, ready to dive into some stats?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Alrighty, now looking on to the statistics. Let's start with the Stover Staples category. He's at 138 with hits. Keeping on track.
Yep. He's got quite a few hits there. How many games has he played?
Oh no. Well, it's I can check it out real quick.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it up here.
All right. So beyond him, we have Strength of Decay, Mesmerize, One Like Hell, and The Real Deal. They top out the top five. Decay, 113. Mesmerize, 103. Run Like Hell, 93. And Real Deal, 78. So obviously a little bit trailing after Silver Staples, but everyone would be expecting for him to lead the league in hitting. How many games played did he have?
Yeah, 16. So he's averaging about 8.5 hits.
Nice. Um, Moving on to plus minus, we have Malkin and Romer, which I think is how you pronounce it. They're both at 24. Beyond them, we got You Want to Be Me at 23, Linden at 23 also, and then you have McNicey, which is at 21. All on those top teams of Florida, LA Kings, and Detroit.
I believe it's Mikey T's.
Mikey T's? Okay, that's how you properly pronounce it. Onto points per game. It's a little confusing right now, but yeah. So yeah,
There's a lot
Shapchuron.
of 4 points per game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you got Shapchuron, 25 at 4. You got Poop Skills at 4. You got Snipe Shots, 21 at 4. You have T Stinks at 4. You have Falconberg at 4. You have the Guardian at 4. And you got Ceasefire at 4, and you got Canuck FTC 12W at 4. So apparently, if you want to be points per game, you gotta get 4. 4 is the marker right now.
Yeah, at least 4.
Let's see. So game-winning goals, we have Run Like Hell at 7. You Want to Be Me at 6. Is that how you pronounce it?
Riz, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. At 6.
Silent H.
Tarasenko at 5, and PTP Protection at 5 also. Short-handed goals, we have Shred at 4, Turtle at 4, Big Yawn at 3, Malkin at 2, Vega at 2. Moving on to power play goals, you have Run Like Hell at 9, PTP Protection at 6, Blaster at 6, Hezri at 4, and Markton at 4. Now on to assists, you have Woy at 28, Malkin at 27, Mesmerize also 27, Dramatic Karma also at 27, and Rise of the Ninja at 25. Onto goals, Run Like Hell is still running this category with a whopping 36 goals, almost hitting the 40 goal mark after the second week. Philly, are you looking forward to play against her?
What's that?
Are you looking forward to playing against Run Like Hell?
I got kind of a good scouting report. We play them tomorrow, actually, from my buddy who plays with Winnipeg, and they actually shut him out on Wednesday or Thursday, and he basically said just to stay in front of Run Like Hell and you'll be good. They basically said everything runs through her, so I'll be playing defense, or no, actually my D partner will be playing defense on her, so we'll be sure to watch him.
Cool. So she's at 36. You have Vega at 23, PTP Protection at 23, Hizuri at 23, and Woy at 21. Also at 21, you have Tarasenko. Now for the points, you have Woy at 49, Run Like Hell at 47, Malkin at 46, Tarasenko at 45, Mesmerize at 42. Onto the goaltender stats. Neil, do you want to read these off?
Sure. We got Boston Hydro with 13 wins. And then close runnings behind that. We got Zim with 9. Dirty Deeds 12-12. PNC Park 2K1. Punisher 4124. And Defu Manchu all with 8. And then behind them, all with 7, Eddie 2708, H Spartan G, Devin Daggs, and Caesar 15. Moving on to goals against average, we have with 1, impressive, Carbor 123.
I'm gonna look at my games. He played each side.
Mike ETs with 1.5. Close behind, Conzilla with 1.51. Caesar 15 with 1.56. And Believe Vladdy with 1.83. Moving on to save percentage. Did you see how many games he played?
Yeah, he's on injury reserve right now, and he's played 2 games.
He played such a tough
Yeah.
game there.
I guess he got injured in his last game.
He wore himself out. Save percentage, we got Conzilla with 905 save percentage. Carbor, again at the top here, 875. The Warrior 12, 852. Caesar 15, 851. And Creasefire with 848, rounding up the top 5. Shutouts, we have Boston Hydro, Zim D-Man, H Spartan G, Caesar 15, Rev, and Illusionist 2123, all with 2 shutouts. And then Dirty Deeds 1212, Defu Manchu, Devin Daggs, and Cryptic Husker, all with 1. Holt C facing the most shots, 250 already. Makes me kind of question their team defense. It's a lot of shots. Cess Dragon Cess with 197. PNC Park 2K1. Flight Airline with 187. Some kind of Hate 13 with 183. And then with saves, and considering the amount of shots, that's a lot of saves too, 201. So he's got 49 goals against. Cess Dragon Cess with 154. Some kind of Hate 13 with 140. Flight Airline 137. And PNC Park 2K1 with 131.
You know what's kind of interesting? You look at Caesar and you look at Boston Hydro. Both on the Caesar is on the LA Kings. He's their main goaltender as far as I can see. And Boston Hydro, it's obviously the Detroit goaltender. You don't see them anywhere on the top shots against or on the saves. How much do you think that is to credit to their defense, and how bad is it when you look at these other teams and see, look at my shots, we're letting our goaltender have to save. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it makes a huge difference if your team's limiting the other team to like 10 shots. It's a little bit easier to get the shutout. But I mean, if you're getting 30, 40 shots against you per game, it makes it pretty difficult.
Yeah. But, well, it's like, you see it near the bottom there. Zadimian had 148. He's in the top 10 for goals against. I mean, for shots against. So it's interesting because you see their team defense is slowly, going down, and show it's the shots that are going against him. So I think that kind of shows, because this is the Why do you guys not hear me?
You're cut out again.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so it was, you hear me now though, right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, Z-D-Man, who won the goaltender of the year last year, even with getting more shots against, he isn't able to perform at the level he was performing. Not completely throwing the Toronto defense under the bus here, but it shows you statistically where their team needs to improve.
Yeah, it's still early, so I mean, they got lots of time to improve defensively and kind of work out their team play, right? And it's not always just the defensemen. Sometimes it lays on the forwards as well. If the forwards aren't helping out, the D-man can only do so much, and the goalie can only do so much. So it really is a team effort.
Yep. And speaking of Detroit and Toronto, they were playing against each other in the game of the week, which was a pretty intense matchup. You guys want to check out those highlights?
Absolutely.
All right, let's
Yeah.
check them out.
And it is on your screen right now. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for sticking it behind the opponent's net. Work it around. Hardy in front looking for Vega. That didn't quite work. Sent towards the D pairing. In front. Looking. Back into the middle. Shot on net. They score. Detroit up 1 after the short-handed opportunities have come abound. And I do believe that was the left D Logicu. Chance at neutral ice for Detroit. A little bit of a cluster as they all kind of chase the puck here. They do get it set up. Taken in. They do lose. That's out in front. That's dangerous opportunity coming in. Save by Zim. Rebound is still there, and he keeps it out. Great stand by Zim to keep it at a 1-0 score line, and they do escape with a 1-0 lead, to say the least. Uh-oh, Vega working with Hardy. Across to Rich. Looking. Rich tries to do it himself, take it short side. It's held onto by Boston Hydro, and he will freeze it with 12:54 left in the second period. It's Rich right in front. Chance. No, it just squeaks by the right post, and Boston Hydro with a good initial save, and it just squeaked by away from the goal line. Good work by him. Taken away by Vega. He actually runs into Hardy, his defenseman, or his left winger. This will be sent back. Shot on net. It's a tipped in front, and they score, but the referee does wave it off. I want to see what they're calling on this. May have been a high stick above the bar. No? Doesn't look. Oh, they're going to call that interference, I think, is what they're going to try to call this. I don't necessarily agree with this. Let me see. Yeah, no, that should probably be a goal, and it'll be unfortunate if it is called back. Let's see. Nope, it is a good goal. Very good. Detroit does get the goal. They're up 2-0. Sent towards the sideboards. In front. Scores! Detroit does get a third goal, and that's a big goal to get. Huge one by Papa, who takes advantage of the rebound, and it's a 3-0 game for Detroit. Moved back to the point. That's taken away. Rich, if he can speed ahead, he might have a chance here to get them back into it. Forehand and post for momentum's sake going into the third period. 2-on-1. They have some time. 3 seconds. Papa with the move taken away by Smoke Show, and it'll be sent all the way down ice, and that is going to end the second period of play. Pretty good poke check, but it is going to be a 3-on-1 the other way anyway. Sent in. Papa. Pass back across, and it's going to be an errant pass at that. Toronto takes it, and they can take their time out of the zone. Looking back. That's taken away. This is going to be an odd man rush the other way. Smoke Show does a good job getting in front of the one. It's a 2-on-1. Back across. Looking. Save. Rebound is still there. Taken a win by Toronto, and Vega will move it out. Rich is hit. Vega will take it. That's a 2-on-1. Dangerous. Tries to put it across, and Hardy can't finish it. Sent up for Vega. Smoke Show with a shot. It's tipped in front. They score. Toronto's on the board, and that's a big one. It may be too little too late. Smoke Show Joe with a shot, and he's going to get credit for that goal. That's a very, very good one. Rich and Vega team up on a turnover. Shot, they score! And they get it to within 1! Toronto fighting in the last minute. Toronto loses it, then gets it back. It's Rich looking to tie it. They score! Final minute, and Toronto has tied the game at 3. Has possession. Bone's going to fight for it behind the net. He will take it. Looks in front. Shot, they score! Detroit has taken the lead right back. Another goal on the board. We've seen 4 in the last minute alone. And this is another one, I believe, by Titan Killer, is who got the goal again. And that may be the swan song. What a comeback, though, from Toronto. All for naught, as it looks like they will go down unless something crazy happens, and Detroit's going to deposit another one. Hat trick, a 5-3 score line, and that is going to do it. Detroit walks away with a hard-fought 2 points. It didn't look like it was in question until the final minute, but Toronto came storming back. Detroit had to be sharp.
Alrighty, so that's the highlights from the game of the week. It was Detroit and Toronto. What did you guys think of that game?
I think it was a great game. Obviously, I think it lived up to game of the week. It didn't look like it was going to at first, but Toronto made it interesting there at the end for sure.
I just watched it there as well. It seems like, I mean, good on Toronto for coming back there. They didn't lose their confidence. They worked their way back, and then just kind of an unfortunate bounce at the end took them out of it. But very strong showing on their part.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see in both these games of the week, because we've seen two top teams go against each other, and we've seen one top team being able to come back from a deficit. Both of them, perhaps being both of them were a 3-goal deficit, and they're able to jump back at it really fast. Does that tell you something about these top teams and how quick they're able to react if they're down in the game?
Yeah, well, it's a big thing to. I mean, a lot of teams they'll get down by 2, 3, 4 goals, and they kind of count themselves out, and they don't think they can come back. And really, that is the difference between winning and losing. If you can kind of just talk amongst yourselves and say, all right, what can we do to turn it around and play differently? Because that's great.
Yeah. Philly, do you want to comment on what your team does when you guys are in a deficit or your games aren't looking too hot?
Just not panic. Me and Oduya both came off winning the Calder Cup last year in the AHL, and I think one of the big differences there is top to bottom the AHL. You look at the bottom teams, and it's you can almost say you're going to win before you play the game. Where in the NHL, top to bottom, you got to come to play every game. I know we just had it was a real slap fest on Thursday against Ottawa, who's at the bottom of the league, but it was a 1-goal game. You gotta play every minute of every game, and no matter who the opponent is.
Yeah, it's funny. Ottawa actually had a similar game against the Avalanche near the beginning of the season, where they also were able to beat a top team. So, I guess if you're the Senators, when you play a top team, is when you play the best. Alrighty, it is time to move on to our guest, Philly fan.
I think the first week there was, we were 4-4 in the first week, but I thought our record didn't speak for how well we played. There was a couple games where we had trouble putting the puck in the net, and it's going to happen. I think this past week we got back on the right track. We're playing a good style of play. Everyone's if you look at our roster, I think everyone's played between no one's even played 10 games yet. I believe in every single person on the team, which is always good to have the depth that we have.
So, Philly, how do you feel like your team was able to do in bidding?
We made a list. We made a list of more than what we needed, so I can't really say we got 100% of what we wanted because that list was 20. But we got everyone, every single person who we have on our roster was on our list going into bidding. The draft also helped us a lot. Skimore and Orange Crush both dropped to us mid-second round, and it was two players we were really high on that have helped the team get, have the record we're at right now.
Does your team feel like that your confidence level so far in the season, even though with Oduya and you kind of being not used to quite yet the NHL level, do you feel like your team pretty much had your back, or is there some question marks, or are they kind of being supportive of you guys, or how's that feel in the locker room right now?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of experience on our squad. Even in the AHL, Odu and I were both PHL owners 2 seasons ago. I was then on Oduya's AHL team last year. But then we have Entry on our squad who was an AHL captain last year. I personally asked him for a lot of decisions, and then our AHL captain, Redemption, was my PHL captain, and we have a good group that I'm not afraid to ask those guys their opinions on anything, and they give us opinions on what they feel like is best for the team. So it's been really nice.
What do you think was the biggest contribution to your success so far? What kind of turned it around for you guys? Because you said you were 4-4-1, was it?
Yeah, 4-4 week one. Yep.
Yeah. And you guys now have you're 10-5-1, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't think our record spoke well our first week. I don't think there was much change from week one to week two.
So it was more of close games.
Yeah, I think we definitely put more pucks in the net the second week. That always helps. I don't know. That's a tough question because I thought we played well week one. Our really only bad games were on the first night of the season, which I'm not going to judge very much considering what it was really our first time playing together. We didn't get a whole lot of preseason action, so I think this past week just shows what we're truly capable of.
Yeah, I see you guys have a pretty strong goaltending core with Devin Daggs, Entry, Yoshi. What do you see as your team's biggest strength?
Yeah, I think Oduya thinks the same way, building from the back end to the front. Yoshi has actually complained about not seeing enough shots. He only faced 11 total shots in 2 games on Thursday, which is kind of tough sometimes for goalies. When you see 5 shots a game, it almost makes it harder. But I think we built from the back end up, but also our forwards play extremely good team defense. JC is one of the greatest two-way centers out there, in my opinion, and same with really everyone else. Kind of bought into being a defensive-minded team, but we put up goals based on playing solid team defense.
That's good. Let's see. What about weaknesses? Do you think you have any?
Well, I would say myself after watching my second game on Thursday, that was pretty bad. Yeah, I don't see any. Personally, I don't see any weaknesses. I mean, everyone's gonna have their bad games. Mine was the second game on Thursday for sure. But I don't see any weaknesses if we play our game, which our game is a good style in my opinion. I think a defensive minded game is easier to play than an offensive minded game because if you play offense, you can run into a good defense, where if it's the other way around, I feel like you're in a better position.
Yeah, I'm looking at your 2 previous games there on Thursday. Game 1, you guys didn't score. It was 1-1 until the third period. Judging by that, do you guys kind of like to start off not slow, but you like to kind of feel it out and see what they're going to give you before you start kind of pushing hard?
Yeah, I think that's been a definite trend in our game so far this season. Has been kind of slow pace at first in the first period. I think there was like 4 total shots between the 2 teams in the first period. And that's kind of how our team was in the AHL last year too, and how my first season was in the PHL. I guess it's something that, you know, I guess has worked. So I guess why change it? I think it is kind of a feeling out process though as the game goes on, and figure out what works, what doesn't, and go from there. But yeah.
For sure. Do you guys pay too much attention to your AHL team, or do you kind of let them run it out?
Yes and no. Our PHL captain actually had to leave. So now we had a new AHL captain take over this past week who was already on the roster. But the
Jared.
assistant is Jared. But the assistant is my old PHL captain, who I've known for like 4 years. So we're always in constant contact. I try to do what I can to help them out, and same with them. They try to, I always ask them for input as to what they think we should do. I can tell you, Redemption definitely had a piece in what we did for bidding for NHL too. So yeah,
Awesome.
we're always in contact with them.
So you guys kind of, do you have any players on their AHL team that you maybe plan on taking up later in the season?
We have Sophist up right now. Sophist played like 20 games in the NHL last season. Great all-around player. He'll definitely be a piece we use going forward. I'm not honestly sure. I guess that can change at any time. Right now, I don't foresee us needing a whole lot, but like I said, that can change as the season goes along.
Yeah, because I know a lot of teams they have players that they want, but they're AHL only, so they'll get their AHL to pick them up and then try to get them their games and then eventually call them up.
Yeah,
You guys don't
definitely.
see yourself doing that?
I think our bidding and draft went so well. We got a lot of what we wanted to where we don't really need to worry about that as much, I guess you could say. So, but I mean, yeah, it's possible as the season goes along, if we get any rough patches and need to make a change or something, it's always good to have a good AHL squad that you keep in contact with like we do.
Absolutely. Was there any players during bidding that you wanted to get but you couldn't get? Went too high, too expensive?
I mean, we had a list, like I said, of more players and what we needed. So because of that, yes, but it didn't really hurt us, I guess I would say.
Awesome.
And to be honest, I couldn't even name you them right now without it in front of me.
Yeah.
I just know we had a list of about 20, and obviously we only got 12 or 13, so there were some left out there, but we still
Yeah, you got your
felt
budget.
like,
You do the best you can with that.
right.
All right, that sums up my questions. Zip, did you have any to add?
Yeah, so you're in a pretty tough division. You guys have had a pretty decent start to your season, a pretty good start, one could say. Do you guys feel worried about the other teams, or do you feel just kind of content on the fact that you guys can keep this up?
It was pretty having. I thought Vancouver would have a better start than they did. Being that they went to the Cup final last year, and a lot of their. I know Vancouver had like already 10 players on their roster going into bidding, which I thought was pretty crazy, but it just worked out well for them. We've played a few in-division games yet. Play LA this week. They're obviously the big dogs. So we're looking forward to that game. I think if we win that game, yeah, I think if we win that game, It'll give us a lot of confidence to believe that that we're the top team in the division. I think Anaheim is really good. They beat us in a close game. I think we played them week 1, but I think we have the ability to beat those guys on any given night too.
Are you guys thinking about making some moves to help you guys keep where you're at, or do you think you're gonna just keep your roster running as is?
I don't plan on making any moves. I like our roster a whole lot. I don't see any reason to make moves after a 6-1 in 1 week. We actually did trade our top scorer on Thursday and Sabres to New York, and they flipped him over to Winnipeg, which kind of made me worry about Winnipeg because they have a pretty stacked roster, in my
Yeah, they have
opinion.
Matt and Mab already, and then
Yeah, we have 3 first-round picks now for next year, so I feel like we've built a good team this year, and I've definitely thought about the the future and all of our trades that we've done as well. To where even if we don't use them for next year, maybe we use those first if we have rough patches to make a good
yeah,
trade.
that's what I was gonna say. If things turn around around the season, are you guys for sure keeping those picks, or you guys would be open to trading them at some point if let's say if you had one of your guys had some sort of issue, which would be unfortunate, and he had to still leave the league. Are you guys specifically saving those draft picks for next season so you can build possibly an even better team next year, or are you just trying to make everything onto the ice right here and now?
I guess I'll give the league some breaking news that Oduya told me. This
Breaking news here
this
and
is going
now.
to be, what's that?
Breaking news here and now.
Oduya said this will probably be his only season as owner, just because he'll be very busy starting next season. So I know his mindset is let's try to win now. So I've also kept that in mind, just because Oduya's been a good friend of mine since I first started in the PHL with him, and so we're definitely going out there to win this year, for sure, without a doubt. I've kept in mind next year because I plan on playing, but at the end of the day, I want to go out there and win for him and everyone else on our squad this year.
Well, that's
With
good. You
that
guys
being
got
said,
some motivation.
do you have any interest in taking over the ownership, or do you kind of want to see how it goes?
Absolutely. I think I was a PHL owner 2 seasons ago, and planned on being an AHL captain. And then I had a lot of conflicts and had to give up my captain before the season started last year in the AHL. And I actually brought a few guys over to the Ice Caps with me to Oduya, kind of as a little like, hey, pick these guys up and let's go win this thing. And so we did. And yeah, what was the question?
Do you have any interest in taking over ownership now that Odia won't be here next season?
Yeah. Sorry, got a little caught up there, huh? Yeah, definitely. It's I'm focused more on this season, but going forward, yeah, I plan on it.
See what happens, though, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like our team a lot. I definitely want to try to keep it going. Obviously, win this year, and if we do good this year, it'll propel us for next year.
You also mentioned this. You kind of touched on it with Vancouver, but is there any teams in your lower or in your not lower in your division that maybe kind of had a rough start that you see being a challenge? Or would you
Vancouver's
say
really the one
LA
that
would be the
sticks
biggest?
out. I think LA's proven that they've came to play. Like I said, Anaheim's a really good squad too. But I would say if there's anyone that's say under us that I'm surprised and or not going to overlook would be Vancouver for sure. Just with all the experience, I know experience is key in this league.
You know a lot of the players on their team?
They made quite a splash the other day. I was looking. They traded like 3 or 4 players, I think, which maybe it was just their way of try to get some fresh
Shake it up a
troops in
bit.
there. Shake it up, yeah.
Shake and
I
bake.
really don't know. I don't know much of their roster. I just know Snake has a lot of experience on building solid squads.
Snake always has a plan, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Neil, you got any more questions for him?
Nope, I think that sums up the guest questions.
Alrighty. Anybody want to comment on anything else that we've talked about so far? Any last little bits?
No, I think I've covered everything I wanted to say.
Any closing remarks, Philly?
Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem at all.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. Alrighty then. Well, good luck to everybody in week 3. We'll catch you guys
Alright,
next
thanks.
week.
Thanks for watching.
Silence calls to me from the treetops of this world. A balance, feeling free. I'm a part of this place of birth. And I know it cannot last, but at last I can finally breathe. And I know it cannot last, but at last I can finally see.